Read what you got. The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So now it is high time to come back to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. What are some of these commandments that we need to come back to? Give me Numbers.
That's what I was saying, man.
Yeah, give me Fringes.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So God is speaking to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and he's commanding that we must put fringes on the borders of our clothes. Come on.
Throughout their generations.
Throughout our generations. So we were supposed to continue doing this for years on end. Read.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
And so on that fringe, it has to be a border of blue. This is a commandment from God, and it's going to tell you why we must do that. Come on.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
So this is the reason behind keeping fringes on our clothes, so we can remember the laws of God, so we can continue to keep them. When we're about to sin, we got something to protect us, a safety net. Now give me the Sabbath. Because a lot of our people don't know how to keep the Sabbath. That's also a commandment of God that we must keep. Read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So why did it say remember? Because it was going to be a point in time where we forget to keep the Sabbath day. So God is teaching us how to keep his Sabbath day holy.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So God tells us that we got 6 days to do whatever we need to do. And on his day, the seventh day, which is Saturday, we must do his will. Give me what you got.
The book of Exodus, chapter 35 and verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be unto you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
So what is it saying when it says that you should kindle no fire in your habitations? It's talking about cooking. Of course you can keep warm, but we're not supposed to cook on the Sabbath day. So what we do, we got leftovers, you can make sandwiches, you got salads, you got anything that we can keep God's laws. Right. It's not grievous to keep God's laws. Right. Read.
Exodus chapter 16 verse 23. And he said unto them, that is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord.
So right now, he's just telling you how to keep the Sabbath day. Read.
Bake that which you will bake today, and sieve that you will sieve, and that which remaineth over, lay up for you tomorrow.
So we must prepare for the Sabbath day. That's how we keep it. God is teaching us to prepare. Give me Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. Because your teachers are out here on the corners right now. Come on.
And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction.
So God gave us the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. We getting our backs whipped, and we still telling the people that whip our backs that we love them, we forgive them. Read.
Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
But our teachers right now, the prophets of God, were telling you that you need to come back to his commandments. And we shouldn't continue to show love for those that hate us. We have to come back to him because God says that these are our enemies. So why do we continue to show love towards them, yet they show no love towards you? Read.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
So your eyes right now, you see the prophets of God. Read.
And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee.
The word is the word that you're hearing right now is the word of God being prophesied unto you. Read.
Saying, this is the way, walk ye in it.
This is the way of the Lord. This is what you must follow. You must walk in this. Read.
When ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left.
All right, now give me Psalms 19. Give me Psalms 119, 142. Because we're teaching our people the truth that they need. Because your pastors today, they're not teaching you no truth that you need. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
So the laws of God is the truth that should be in the churches. Give me Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. Because the laws of God, that's what we need. That's the truth. That's the knowledge that we need. Read.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So the priest's lips, your pastor's lips, they should keep knowledge, right? What is that knowledge that is talking about? Read.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
So why are we not hearing no laws? Why we don't hear to keep the Sabbath day? Why don't we hear put fringes on your clothes? Why don't we hear stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster? We hear the opposite of that in the churches today. Read.
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
This is his job. He's supposed to be leading you to your salvation, but yet he's leading you to your damnation. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be teaching our people how to keep the commandments of God. Give me what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
So what we about to do, we about to teach you your nationality, because your pastor ain't teaching you your nationality or what you need to do to gain salvation. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Don't none of our people hearken unto the voice of God. That's why we are doing whatever we want to do. On the Sabbath day, we cooking, buying, and selling. We're not keeping the Sabbath day. We tell God we love him, yet we despise God by not keeping his commandments. Read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said, all right, you don't want to do what I tell you? You're cursed now. What is some of these curses that we go through today? Read.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Right now, how are we cursed in the city? Because you got to go to the so-called white man to get food. Yet you got to pay for water, though it fall freely from the sky.
Right.
Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field. We was the ones getting our backs whipped. We was the ones that was picking up cotton.
Right.
We was the ones that was in strawberry fields.
Right.
The so-called white man, the so-called Chinese man, so-called Arab man, they're selling to you. You have to go to them and buy from them. Give me verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So it says that we should serve our enemies, those that hate you, those that despise you. You have to serve the enemies that God sent against you for not keeping his commandments. Read.
In hunger and in thirst.
So in hunger and in thirst. Our people don't own Oasis.
Right.
We don't own Sonic.
Right.
We don't own Quick Trip.
Right.
We don't own Little Caesars.
Right.
We don't own none of these places where you have to go get food. And at any given time, they could shut it all down. And what you gonna do then? When they took away the toilet paper, people was in a frenzy. People was in a frenzy. What you gonna do? Your oppressor has to provide for you. That's what it's talking about when it says you gotta serve your enemy. Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. Yeah, people, we got clothing brands, but yet where we get the raw materials to make those clothes? You still gotta go to your oppressor. You gotta make money. Read.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. You need that car. You need that license for that car. You need that insurance. You need that house insurance. You need that house. You need all these things, and you can only go to one group of people to get it. And they don't look like you.
Right.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until you have destroyed thee.
And that same person you got to go to, they had yokes of iron upon your neck.
Right.
But yet you say, I forgive you. I
Right.
got to love them. I have to love them. Come on, read.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
This same nation is the same nation you got to serve today. The same nation that owns all these places you got to go to. God sent them for us because we didn't want to keep his commandments. So he sent them over and brought us over here. Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
We didn't understand English. We had our own language. We didn't understand Spanish. We had our own language at the time. Read.
A nation of a fierce countenance.
A nation of a fierce countenance. They got their knees on your neck. They shoot you down in the streets. Yet you look at your brother as he a nigga. We're gods on this earth. We're gods and princesses on this earth. Why don't we look at each other like that? That's why we go through what we go through. Read.
A nation of a fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
They don't give a damn about your granny, your baby, your auntie, your cousin. They don't care about none of y'all. But yet we show more love to them than to ourselves. That's the problem.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.